Robin, please help me to announce the next comedian. His name is Socrates. Welkom meteen. Give him a big hand.
I'm slowly turning into Buddha. It's peaceful. Yeah, my name is Socrates. I am an American. Yeah. See? Told you eventually we'd do it. All it took was indicting one guy. That doesn't work very well for me. Anyway, hey. Close enough. Anyway. Yeah, my name is Socrates, like I said. I don't know if you heard the original Socrates, Socrates 1 or Socrates Prime, using his Transformers name. But he tried to warn the world about democracy, and nobody listened. See what happened? See, he was worried that if people didn't understand what they were voting for, they could be convinced to vote for something stupid. Yeah, it's funny now. Back in the olden days, it was a real worry, you know. And what we did with it, we turned it into a thing called politics, which hasn't worked well. And if you don't know, politics is a Greek word. The origin helps understand why it's like it is. It comes from poly, which means many, and ticks. A blood-sucking parasite that spreads diseases. Politics. Yeah. You get what you pay for. So I've been here about 14 years now, and some of you don't speak any Dutch. A few people, a few Portuguese people in the back. You have Chinese people, but you speak perfect Dutch? Perfect Dutch. Prachtig. Nederlands. Yeah. Sorry, I believe. I'm trying to learn my Dutch, and about a year ago I learned a word I'll never forget, which changed my life, and that word was aangereden, which means to be slammed into. In my case, it was aangereden door een scooterklootzak. Because I got ran into by an asshole on a scooter. Yeah. Want to guess what happened to me? Hurt my arm, exactly, yeah. Basically, there was this car driving on a feets pad, and a scooter also on the feets pad, and apparently they did not understand that feets pad is a bike path. I tried to explain to them what they were doing wrong, but didn't have a lot of time, so all I could say was, ah! And then I flew, much like a bird. Then I landed more like an octopus, broke half my arms. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I landed on this side of it here-ish. And I called 112 because 911 doesn't get you anything yet. And I asked for an ambulance and some police, and they said, you know, can I walk and was I going to pass out? And I said, I don't think so. And they said, take a taxi. Seriously, take a taxi. And I thought about it for a moment. I said, I think I might pass out. They sent me a taxi, they sent me an ambulance, fortunately. And the ambulance, this thing's outside. The ambulance, they asked me if I wanted fentanyl. Yeah, I'm an American, you know, don't tease me. Just give me the heroin, man, you know. And so I got to go to the secret house, the house of paracetamol. And they took one look at me in my x-ray, they went, ugh, which is, you don't want that reaction from a doctor. It's just a bad reaction. And they offered me morphine. Said, would you like some morphine? Yeah, sure, I'll take some morphine. A better microphone stand. Combination of two things that help. And they gave me a blue strap. Have you ever seen one of these things? It's blue. It's a strap. It's got some Velcro on it. You can collect them. And they told me it comes good. Yeah, it's called conservative treatment. They did nothing, basically. They gave me Oxycontin, sent me home, and told me it comes good, which is an optimistic thing that all doctors and therapists will tell you here. If you haven't heard it, you will hear it. It's not useful medical advice. I didn't find it helpful. It's only really useful as a Yelp review for a sperm donor. So I go home, I'm trying to keep my shoulder loose because, God forbid, my shoulder locks up. So I'm in my backyard trying to keep this thing moving because I can only move it about now so far. But with help, I can get it a little higher. And I'm waving to my neighbors in the backyard, getting a really bad vibe from people. And it turns out they thought I was a Nazi. Yeah, I know, me. Whoa. Nazi mother. I explained what happened, with my shoulder. Now they just think I'm practicing to be a Nazi. So months passed, I went back to the doctor and said, hey doc, it's not coming good. I can get my arm up about that far. And, I have arm erectile dysfunction. The first step in coming good is getting it up. And I'm not getting second dates with this thing. Click, click, pop. And he said, well, Helas and Pentecost. Yeah. Which is a useless Dutch saying. Click this thing here. And if you don't know what it means, oh well, peanut butter. Yeah, completely useless Dutch saying. But it rhymes. And the Dutch love a good rhyme. That's like their favorite thing is the rhyming. She popped one out. What did you say earlier? I lost some other cast. I don't know what it is. Another one, it was a rhymer though. My favorite rhyming Dutch saying is "Noken in de koken."
Oh, yeah.
It's an actual Dutch saying. I did not come up with it. Noken in de koken. It means fucking in the kitchen. Unfortunately, I was here 3 months, and I got taught that by an Oma, a grandmother type. I didn't know what she meant. Maybe I didn't catch the implication. Some things are more subtle than others, I don't know how to use Noken and de koken in context. I get Helas Pentecost, I've done Helas Pentecost. But Noken and de koken, it's years ago. But I think if you combine Noken and de koken with Helas and Pentecost, you end up with satay sauce. It's a strange peanut buttery goop that they put on chicken. It's pornographic in a Dutch food kind of way. But like a lot of people, I came to the Netherlands for the weather, But I stayed for the food. Not everything we say on stage is true. This is, unfortunately. So basically, a bunch of months passed. I finally convinced them to do something for me, and they went like overboard the other direction, and they gave me 12 screws, carbon fiber plate, a bone from a dead guy. I don't know who he was. I didn't kill him. He'd have been really far gone for me to actually take him out. And they took bone and bone marrow out of my knee, so I couldn't walk for 4 months. Yeah, it's a Dutch word for that too. It's it's the strangest of all Dutch words. In America, we just sigh, But has got some extra tone to it, Like when you just miss your train because somebody else got killed, you're like, It's the worst time to hear it, though. I think, you don't want to hear it, just after sex. Yeah, it's not a good, or when just before you walk into the kitchen, either one. But basically, they finally did all of that, and then it went necrotic, and so a few months after that, and the Dutch for that I think is just jammer, like unfortunate, it's an understated kind of thing. So they finally did another surgery on me. I decided I wanted to get a second opinion this time, because, it'd been like a year, a fun year. 2022, woo! Not the only one, right? So I decided to get a second opinion, and I figured, well, I should go ask the Germans. But when you think about it, the Germans, they've already done all the experiments. And some they shouldn't have done. But nonetheless, they know what they're doing. So I went over there and I asked what they thought, and they looked at their paperwork and said, according to these tests, your mother's Jewish? I said, yeah. Checking. So they asked me to see the arm, and I showed them the whole army thing there, and they got all excited, and started goose-stepping around and giving me the thing. I said, hey, a thing called too German. And so of course I decided to have the operation back here. Because the Dutch are very much like the Germans in lots of different ways. But the biggest difference between them is the Dutch are absolutely not German. That's about it, for the most part. They sound a little differently. So I finally came back here to have the surgery, and they took out the bone of the dead guy, the 12 screws, threw it all in the trash. I killed a man for nothing. So I'm finally trying to get over this, and I thought, maybe I should become religious. This is a big religious crowd at the IT world. I had a feeling this was not necessarily the biggest religious room of all. I wasn't really raised with religion for the most part. I mean, I was baptized Greek Orthodox as a baby. It was no really big deal. They put me in a bowl, priest poured olive oil over me. I mean, honestly, I could have been a salad. But I've been trying to, find my center through all this crap, and religion, is supposed to teach you the lessons of life. And again, I wasn't raised with it, but we have TV in the U.S., and we have lots of religious cartoons, because I don't know if you've noticed or not, but America loves its religion. And guns. Guns, gods, and guts, I think is what it is. But I picked up the essence of religion, you know what I mean? Which is like God knows everything because God made everything, because God has a plan for everything. So why would people pray? That's what I don't understand. I mean, little Timmy, sure, he fell and broke his leg. He's clumsy. Because God made him clumsy. I don't know why. Apparently it's part of God's plan. Little Timmy to break his damn leg. Or in my case, for some guy to come across the road and smash me with a scooter. I don't like God's plan, personally. I'm kind of leaning towards atheism at this point. I think this room agrees with me, generally speaking. Yeah, I actually went to see a psychiatrist. She called me a nihilist. I took it as a compliment. I finally achieved something. Believing in nothing. Because the insurance company keeps saying, I'm fine. I wish they were right, but I don't think so. So I'm thinking about buying myself a dog, maybe. There's a buddy of mine, he bought a dog a little while ago. But he is actually a nihilist. And so he does what he does is he names the dog Karma. But it's a male dog. So invariably people will say, hey, Karma's a bitch. He goes, nah, man. Karma's just a dog. You make your own reality. Sometimes it hurts. Anyway, my name is Socrates.